there, welcome to Within Living's YouTube channel. My name is Lois, and I'm so very happy that you're here. Thank you for coming. It's wonderful meeting up with you here. So whether you're a first-time viewer, a regular subscriber, or someone who visits on occasion, thank you so very much for coming. Now, if you have not yet done so, may I just ask you right away, go ahead if my content resonates with you and subscribe to my channel, right? And please do hit the ring bell button so that you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you so very much for that. So here at Within Living, all our conversations here and all my content that you might find around the internet, whether it's a blog post or my coaching or content from one of my courses, this content is going to be focused towards supporting you on your spiritual awakening journey to go back within and connect with consciousness, who is also called awareness, who is God within you, of who you truly are as the divine being that you are. Because you see, you're not just flesh and blood. We're not. We're actually spirit beings in the human experience, having the human experience. So my content for some is going to be somewhat of a trigger. It's going to be thought-provoking. It's going to cause you to stop, think about it, ponder it, question it. Now, if you ask me a question in the comments box, I'll answer depending on what that question is. If it's too personal, probably not. If it's general, yes. But what I do is I support you and encourage you, go back within. I'm always gonna guide you to go back within and ask the questions that you have within you, because the answers and the solutions are always within you. They're right within you. There's nothing really external of you, okay? So that's what we're all about here. So today, I wanna follow up on the conversation we had last week. After I did that video, I felt very inspired by the source of me to do a mini series of videos that talks more in depth about different aspects of the journey of spiritual awakening. So for the next couple of videos that I'm going to be doing, I don't know how many it will be. I'll just follow the source of me, see how it brings forth the content. But for the next couple of videos, I'm going to say, we're going to be talking specifically about spiritual awakening, this journey that we're all on, what it is about, what does it mean, what is the process we go through as we're going through it. And so this is going to be the conversation. So with that, today, I have, let's call this segment 2 then, right? And we're going to be calling it Understanding Spiritual Awakening and Its Purpose. Now, let me warn you up ahead, this is going to be a long video. So please bear with me, but I promise you that the upcoming one next week is going to be really short. Okay, so bear with me on this. But before we get into the video today, I got a couple announcements that I'd like to make. First of all, I want to give a really big shout out to a couple of people here who are so kind and so faithful in supporting this work that I do here on YouTube to be able to bring you guys this content every week, right? So special thanks goes out to Bussy O, to Marshall C, and to Ray Queen Mother. Thank you all so very, very much. I sincerely appreciate you for appreciating the value of the content that I bring forth to you here on YouTube. So thank you very, very, very much for that. All right, and the next thing I want to address before getting into the video is that I've been sending out this newsletter now for several months. And it's my observation that there's just not enough participation in it, right? This newsletter, it calls for more time for me to write the content, but on the back end of it, there is a cost that I have to pay, that Within Living has to pay for the software that we're using to send this newsletter out. And I'm just not getting the kind of response either from the subscription to it or the people who subscribe from it. Most of them are not even opening it to read it. So that being said, I am going to make a business decision, which I've already made, to discontinue issuing the newsletter. So effective December 31st, you'll get 2 more issues if you're subscribed, December 1st and December 15th, and effective December 31st of 2025, I'm going to discontinue sending that newsletter. The support is not there for it. What I can provide for you and support you with is, if you will go to my blog, there is content on my blog. There's enough information, people, on my blog, free information to support you to totally change your life if you will go ahead and do the work to apply that information. So you'll be able to go to my blog then and continue to find, free content there. All right. So I just want to say also that in sincere appreciation as we enter the holiday seasons, I'm actually recording this video on Thanksgiving Day here in the U.S. on Thursday, November 27th, 2025. And so in appreciation for each and every one of you that have supported me over the weekend, over the year, I know there's several of you who've reached out, who've wanted to participate with me in either one-on-one coaching or one of my courses. And I do provide a payment option through PayPal that will split your payment up into several payments. You don't have to pay for it all at one time. But some are still having a little struggle. And in appreciation for you being faithful in supporting me, and because I sincerely care and I'm committed to your growth and evolution in your spiritual journey, then I am gifting you from now until December 31st, 20% off of my one-on-one coaching and 50% off on all of my courses. And the payment plan still applies for you. So if you look in my description box, you'll find that information there. All right, so thank you very much. Now let's get into today's conversation. And as I said, this is going to be a long one. So hang tight with me, okay? All right, so spiritual awakening. What exactly is spiritual awakening? What are we supposed to understand from it? And what is really the purpose? Why do we have to go through it? Why are we doing this, right? So let's take a look at that now. The spiritual awakening is really, it's not, and has nothing to do with, quote, being spiritual, as I mentioned in our last video last week. And I'm going to tag that video here in the box for you as a reference. Go back and listen to that video again, and then come back and listen to this one again, so you connect any missing dots that you might need to connect, okay? So the spiritual awakening is all about awareness. That's what it is about, people. It is the awareness or the remembrance of being aware that you are awareness itself. You can't be aware of anything without that awareness being pointed to it. And this awareness is a self-awareness. It's an awareness of yourself. When I say yourself, I'm not talking about your body and your name and your personality and your hair and the makeup and the clothes and all of that. No, I'm talking about the divine essence of who you are. This is what you've been awakened to recognize, that you're not just the body thing. You're not just the name and the personality, but that you are indeed a spiritual or spirit, eternal, divine being. That, my friend, translates into who we call, quote, God. You are God. For some of you, you call it the universe. For some of you, you call it the infinite. For some of us, we call it the subconscious mind or the soul. For some of us, we call it the spirit or the Christ presence. It really doesn't matter what we choose to call it. It is the who you are. It is the essence of your being. Your being means your existence. You could not have a name, a personality, a body, a life experience without first being, existing, being. And so this being that you are, it has awakened. It has been sleeping, dreaming the dream of life, that it is going through this life as a human being. And it has now awakened to remember, wow, wait a minute. That's just an experience I've been going through, but that is not who I am. I am awareness itself. I am the divine. I am the eternal, everlasting I am. I am the Alpha. I am the Omega, the beginning and the end of all things. I am all that there is. We call that God. So that really is what your spiritual awakening is about. It's awakening you to come back to the awareness and become conscious in that awareness of who you are being. It's your awakening to the truth. This is truth. In the Christian Bible, they got a verse, I don't remember off top of my head where it's found, but it says, you shall know that truth, and that truth shall set you free. It is the awareness or the knowingness, the revelation, the remembering of the truth of who you are. That is the truth that you shall know. And it is this truth that shall set you free. And when you are set free in your awakening, you truly are free indeed. You can't go back. You just can't go back. A person who's been truly spiritually awakened can never go back. You cannot go back. And you ask me, Lois, then, well, why would the soul have to be awakened? Well, because you have free will. And it is called the subconscious mind. Why is it sub? It steps back. It is submerged. It steps back. It's also sometimes referred to as the unconscious mind. Why? Because we have free will, the personality, the avatar, the name of you, name of me, the name of all of us. And in the human experience, we come out from the womb, and some of us before we even come out of the womb, we're being trained that this is how we think, this is how we think, this is how life is, this is how the rules are, and we've adopted those things in the conscious mind, the mind, the forefront mind, the conscious part of the mind, without questioning, without reasoning. We accept them and assume them as true to us, and therefore we must play them out and become them. We literally become what we believe, and then we experience it in life. So the soul is now waking up and saying, no, I've been asleep at the switch for all these years, and I've allowed you, the avatar, the ego, to run the show, and I've become to you all that you have demanded and required me to come to you based on your beliefs, based on your convictions, but that is not who I am. This is who I am. And I came in human form specifically through you, the personality of you, on this life cycle to accomplish a specific purpose, an eternal purpose through you. And I'm awakening from my sleep now to wake you up, to jolt you, to shake you, to say, wow, wait a minute, no, this is who I am. And then it is up to you, the avatar, to make the choice. You have free will to choose. So you have to then choose. But once you're awakened, my friend, the choice is over. You have to come into the awakening. If not now, later. Okay, so when we are awakening, then the awakening is a work that happens internally within us, from this God presence that we are within us. Awakening is something that has to be discerned. It has to be something that is revealed to you from the infinite intelligence that you are within you. A spiritual awakening is not something that you can attain, quote, here consciously through the logical reasoning mind. You simply cannot. You must experience it from within. The soul or God within has to reveal it to you. In other words, open your eyes. Take the scales off your eyes. Open your eyes spiritually to become aware of this truth of who you are. So it is only then through the eyes of the awakened person that we can notice or see the spiritual essence of our being. And then we're also able to see the spiritual essence of the beings of others, because we're the one being, just different personalities or avatars. Okay. This is actually referred to in the Bible, and I have some notes here, so I'll be looking down a little bit today. So you will find a reference in 1 Corinthians 2:14, where it states, "But the natural man, which is the egoic, logical, reasoning mind, does not receive the things of the Spirit, which is the soul, the subconscious mind, the God within you. It does not perceive or receive the things of God, for they are foolishness to him. Nor can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned." What does that mean? That simply means the conscious, reasoning, logical mind cannot fathom for you, cannot analyze and calculate. And I know there's some people who try to rationally analyze and calculate the spiritual awakening based on one or two experiences they've had. It cannot be. That cannot give you your awakening. Your awakening truly has to come from God within you. And as that scripture says, when we're doing it by the carnal, logical mind, that's why a lot of your family members, your friends, your loved ones, they cannot relate to you. They will not be able to relate to you until they've had their own awakening, because they're relating to you from the conscious, logical, reasoning mind. And awakening is not about that at all. It's not about that. To me, it's the most precious gift I've been given next to the breath itself. Because once you have life, you have it for all eternity. For all eternity. But in addition to that, to know that in the gift of life that I have, I've been awakened to recognize, honest to God, that I am God. I am not this flesh. That is huge, people. That is huge. And I'm going to encourage you and support you. Take a time, take some minutes to really meditate and contemplate on your spiritual awakening and the incredible gift that it is to you, because it gives you everything. Once you understand who you are when you've been awakened, you know that there's nothing else, life external, the world can give to you. There's nothing the world can give to you, because you are everything. Okay, so the spiritual awakening cannot be the result then of the logical reasoning mind. It has to be revealed or discerned by the Spirit within, the God presence or Christ presence within. Okay, spiritual awakening is not, it's not something we can achieve. It's not something an encounter we're going to meet up on, or a one-time event. Your spiritual awakening is a total radical transformation of your life. So when you first initially had that jolt, that was just the beginning, right? That was like the door opening and you walking through the door into your awareness of consciousness of who you truly, truly are. So awakening, spiritual awakening, is a lifestyle. It is a way of life. It is a journey. It comes forth from a true transformation. It is an ongoing conscious consciousness, being in consciousness, expansion, which leads to an authentic awareness of the divine presence, who we call the soul, the spirit, the universe, the subconscious mind, God within, who society calls God. That's what the spiritual awakening is. It's the ongoing into higher and higher states of consciousness, a conscious awareness of your divinity. It is not all pulled back, revealed to you all at one time. Yes, initially you know you're God, but the transformation, a butterfly did not, or a caterpillar did not become a butterfly like that. It was a process. It went into the cocoon and it died. So must you. If you truly want to experience consciousness expansion in your awakening, you're going to have to die to the egoic self. There's no other choice. So welcome aboard. Yes. Okay, so in the human experience, we're living in two worlds at the same time. And thereby we're able to experience two modes of awareness. And here they are. So in the one is the awareness of the conscious mind, the egoic mind, the personality. That's the one that's been running the show. And that one is centered all about the personality itself and its wants and its wishes and its do's and its don'ts and its fault finding. And the other, the other is centered in the identity of who it knows it already is. Not what it's going to get or what it's going to have, but who it already is. That one is the one that is the soul. That one is the one that is the God within you. Okay. The other, or the God within you, it is considered the non-conscious or subconscious mind. That's who we call the soul. It is focused on the superconscious awareness within itself. It sees all things whole. It sees all things perfect. It sees all things completed. It doesn't see fragmented. That's why God can't never be fragmented no matter what they tell you. You are all of God or you're none of God. Just that simple. You're not a part of God, a fragment of God. You are all of God. God is whole, can't never be fragmented. So it never sees anything fragmented. It never finds fault with anything. It doesn't judge. So there's no big portion, small portion, good one, bad one, or in between one. It sees everything the way it sees itself. It is focused on itself. So God within you, my friend, God within you is seeing you as the perfection and wholeness that it is, in which it sees itself. Takes us back to the word namaste. When I say to you that I see the divinity of you, which I do, I don't see the comments necessarily that we share. What I see is the reflection of the God of you. You're perfect. You are already perfect. There's nothing to fix, people. There's nothing to fix. Your awakening is the revelation of this. And then for you to accept it as your truth. Commit yourself. Make a decision, and that's 50% of the victory, is making a resolute decision to come in alignment with your true self as the soul, right? And to deny all that you've been as the egoic self. In this, you bring the ego to its death. Okay. There are two distinct, different journeys, the two journeys or experiences, and we cannot successfully toe the line of living in the two worlds at one time. So, in other words, living in the conscious mind as the egoic personality and choosing to die to the egoic self and aligning with the divinity of who you are and living as God within are two distinctly different journeys that we're going through. So this is where we have to make the choice. We cannot successfully keep one foot in the ego and 1 foot in the spirit. Can't do it. You just can't do it. And for those, we all have attempted and we all have experienced it. So needless, none of us lie about that. Because when we first start out, we all have. Until we're totally surrendered to the dying of the ego. And what you'll find, which has been my experience and the experience of others I've heard, is life gets really chaotic and dysfunctional. That's why a lot of us end up at the bottom of the pit, where we have to start all over again. In the Christian Bible, there's another verse, don't remember off the top of my head where it is, but it says you cannot serve two masters at one time. I know in Christianity, in my experience in Christianity, they teach that about money. Can't love money and God at the same time. Well, it kind of means the same thing. It's saying you cannot be in this world, the egoic mind, and be in the mind of God at the same time. You're going to love one and hate the other. In other words, you're going to be focused more on one and not present at all, or hardly with the other. You have to make a choice. In spiritual awakening, you have to die to the one. That's what the awakening is about. You have to die to the one. And what is the purpose of the awakening then? Why are we going through all this? To choose to die to the egoic self, the personality, and allow the God within to become the dominant personality. We're not abandoning having a personality. No. Because we can't do that as the unique individual expression of God. What we're actually doing is we're saying, I've been aligning to the human perspective of life, of who I thought I was and how I thought life was intended to go, because I've been being controlled by the ego, that personality. And that personality takes its identification from its experiences. And I'm saying, I'm choosing to die to that and allow the real me, the God that I am, who is not attached or fixated on any particular experiences, but who's already whole, perfect, and complete, to come forth through me and dominate my personality, that I reflect it, God expressing itself as man. I mean, how wonderful is that? To me, that's just like I said before, next to life. It's just the most amazing thing to me. This is the gift of your spiritual awakening. You have to choose to deny the ego. And my friend, I will just tell you here that you can't play games with that. You have to literally sit down and make you a conscious, deliberate decision that you are going to do that. And then be committed wholeheartedly, unreservedly to getting that work done. That's the work of going within yourself and looking at what you've been believing in life. In the spiritual awakening, you also begin to, which I will talk about in the upcoming video, one of the first things you experience, or one of the first phases of the awakening, is when you have the realization that everything you've been believing and thinking is so really is not. That it's been the illusions of the ego. And then this is where you have to make that conscious, willful decision, a choice to choose that, yes, I am going to choose to love the God of me first and foremost over the personality of me, the ego of me. Okay, in this process, you are actually dissolving the egoic mind, and you are birthing reborn, being born from above. They talk about in Christianity, you must be born from above. Well, this is what it means to be being born from above. You're being reborn, you're birthing, bringing forth the fullness of the God presence within you. And you then, it is your work then to begin to study, find information, do whatever is required for you to do to begin to learn and understand who is this being that you're becoming? Who is the soul? Who is God? What is its nature? What are its characteristics? How does it act? How does it have faith? How does it manifest things? This is actually the inner work that you have to do. And then when you do this inner work, as you do it, then you discover what these characteristics and these traits are of the God presence, which is your true identity. Then you continue to do the work to come in alignment with that nature and that character that is God within you. And as you do, you will begin to reflect it without. Your world without has no option but to change. Why? It will be experiencing energetically the infinite potential and power of all that there is, that is God expressing itself through you, the avatar, the personality that it chose to itself in this life cycle. This is what your spiritual awakening is about. People, let me tell you something. Your spiritual awakening is the most important thing in your life. It's not your job. I'm sorry. If you put your job, if you put your money, if you put manifesting all these things, even if you put your family or your ego above your spiritual awakening, you are denying your God presence within, and you will pay a heavy price for that. I'm just here to let you know that. Okay, so when you understand what this is about, you can then navigate ideally through learning to focus at how to focus and discipline your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, your words, how to work with your imagination. Because these are the areas that you're going to want to bring about change in. You have to make the decision. You have to die to the egoic self. You have to do this inner work to put that ego to that. And then, only then will the God presence within you truly arise and dominate your personality. So, I trust that this brings a lot of clarity to you. Next week, we're going to be doing one, I think it's called, Your Spiritual Awakening is as Unique as You Are, something along that line. But I'm going to go through and talk about some of the stages of spiritual awakening, what they are, how to deal with them. All right. So again, it was my intentions that you were really, really blessed from this video. Let me know in the comments box if you're finding this kind of content valuable. This is what my source gives to me. So this is what I'm bringing forth. And by the way, I'm not sure what's going on with YouTube. Something is up with YouTube, because you know what? My videos are not getting out there. I know my content is potent. This I know. But my views have dropped off like by about 80%. And I'm not the only one. YouTube is doing some funny stuff. Not sure how much longer I'm going to be messing with YouTube, just so you all know that. So in any case, would you just go ahead and help me to bypass these algorithms? Share this content, please. And let me say this. If you're watching and this content resonates with you, would you give it a like? And I understand there are these things called hypes now, where you could give a hype to help to further push the content out. All right, so I will really, really appreciate that. So until next time, thank you so much for being here. It's my real joy bringing this to you and supporting you on your spiritual awakening journey, because we are the one God. You are God. I am God. Everything is God. And I see you. I truly do see you. I see you, the you, Y-O-U capital, the God of you, and I honor your divinity. So, till next time, namaste. Bye-bye for now. Always remember, we're one love. It's only one love. And it's the us. So, till next time, peace.